And what if we decide to simply visit a company in person?
If I visit companies, just drive around, go to industrial areas, and try to acquire new businesses as customers. It's certainly a good way to find new clients. And of course, you will meet new people, but what really matters is speaking to the right individuals within the companies. And that is the real challenge in this situation. But I have a tip for that. If I'm driving around in an industrial area and I spot my dream company, my ideal customer, and I want to ring the bell, then someone will eventually open the door for me. But I don't know who my contact person is, who is responsible for, let's say, IT systems. The biggest mistake you can make in this situation is to ask the person who opens the door, who is responsible for IT systems in your company? But let me explain why. You have to imagine that. When you ring the bell and show up somewhere unannounced, you're probably not particularly welcome at that moment. They're not waiting for you, they're all busy with something. It's always safe to assume that. And this person who opens the door for you, if they're not directly responsible for IT systems, which they most likely won't be, though of course that would be a perfect match indeed. So this person is very likely not the right contact person for you. You cannot change that in this situation. And this person will primarily be intent on keeping you away from their colleagues. They probably already have enough work to do, so he will try to get rid of you and will be proud that he managed to do so. And they will have a strategy for how to do this. If you now ask who is responsible for IT systems in their company, you will get the correct answer. It's Mr. Meyer, but he's not here at the moment. He never is. Do you have an appointment? And you can't just claim you have one. Because if they check their calendar, they won't find any appointment scheduled with you. So lying is not an option in this case either. That's why it's generally very difficult to reach the right contact person when you visit companies unannounced. And although it can happen that the right person happens to open the door, that's more the exception than the rule. From my personal experience, when you actually go see customers, ring the doorbell, and someone opens the door, that's exactly when you should start your pitch. Tell them who you are and what you do. Hello, I'm Robert, and we sell green IT systems that allow your company to use only 10% of the electricity it needed before. Just start with your pitch, but in a way that anyone can understand. You have to be careful not to throw technical terms around, because the person at the door may not be the one with the expertise on the subject. But just go ahead and deliver your pitch. And if they realize, oh, this is actually about IT systems and they're talking to me about topics I don't understand or that aren't even my responsibility right now, then they'll automatically bring in their colleague. That's been my experience so far. So when you're doing cold acquisition with on-site visits, just go ahead and start with your pitch, even if it's the 16-year-old intern who opens the door. Start talking to them right away. Go ahead with your pitch and clearly explain to them what you're actually looking for. People can usually decide for themselves whether the topic is actually of interest to their business or not, so there's no need to worry. And let's be honest, it really doesn't do you any good to pitch your idea to a company that has absolutely no interest in your product. And even if you manage to somehow get through to the decision maker and everyone in the company knows, okay, we don't need new IT because we just got our new server delivered yesterday, then reaching the decision maker still won't help you. You won't close the deal, and that means it's just wasted time.
Is there anything else on this topic that matters to you?
Yeah, to get new contacts, that's always kind of the wish of most salespeople, and everyone always thinks they have so few contacts, they don't know who they could call. And the truth is, many salespeople just don't fully realize the incredible treasure they're already sitting on right now. We all have countless contacts, even in our personal lives. And if you just take a moment to think about it, scroll through your phone book, your contact list on your smartphone, check your WhatsApp contacts, you'll quickly realize, okay, wait a second, I actually know this one from back when we played football together. He could actually be quite interesting, you know. I mean, if you just take a moment to step outside your usual work bubble and broaden your perspective a bit, really look further ahead. In the club or organization I might be part of, what kind of people are there? Who could help me out? And then perhaps also broaden the networking aspect a bit more than I initially thought. Maybe I don't have many contacts who fit my target group. But it'd still be important to explain to those people what I actually offer, what it is that I'm selling, because you often underestimate what kind of network they actually have and who they might possibly know. Sometimes you're genuinely amazed when you play this game and suddenly realize, wow, our goalkeeper at the local football club actually knows the person I've been trying to win as a client for more than 10 long years now without even expecting it. And suddenly you end up landing your absolute dream client through a personal connection like that. And that whole concept of networking, never forget it, never lose sight of it, no matter what. If you have, I don't know, let's say around 200 contacts that you regularly interact with in your everyday life and broader social circles as well, and if each of those 200 contacts has another 200 contacts, that's a massive number of people you could potentially get in touch with simply by going through just one more person in your extended network. And of course, you should make use of that. On the other hand, it's also true that most entrepreneurs have a website. And on that website, you do get visitors coming in, maybe not many though. For some, it's just around 10 per day. For others, it's as many as 3,000 visitors each day. And unfortunately, the sad truth is that most companies still tend to forget to actively reach out and engage the people who are already on their website. They're completely overlooking this crucial part of sales. For me, it's absolutely essential. I just don't understand how so many companies still don't use a tool like this. In Mr. James, we've got our Lead Explorer tool, which clearly shows me exactly which corporate customers are actively browsing around on my website right now. Who's visiting my website right now? And I truly can't wrap my head around it. Given that tools like these are readily available these days, there are still so many companies out there that don't make use of them at all, which really makes no sense. If I'm able to see who's visiting my website, then suddenly I've got actual leads I can follow up with. People who've already shown interest by visiting my site and could be potential customers down the line, which makes outreach much more effective. They didn't visit my website because they're uninterested. They came because they're actively looking into something right now. And you can attract them either through a search engine, through social media, or through various topics leading to my website or to the company website. And I should definitely reach out to them. I wouldn't let them slip through the cracks under any circumstances. The success rates are really high there, I gotta say. I mean, if someone's already taking the time to check out my company or have a look at my product on the website, then that's pretty much the creme de la creme of customers. And I should definitely reach out to them, even if they're not filling out a contact form right now, because they might just expect some ads or don't want to receive newsletters. But I can always give them a call. If I know who it is, I'll just pick up the phone and reach out to them directly. On the other hand, it's obvious, we all use social media, we all have our private profiles, and many tend to share their posts or products, their offerings, exclusively on the company website rather than elsewhere online, which limits their reach. And we all have the best contacts, but more often than not, they're the ones we've built through our personal lives and keep in touch with privately. And if I just go ahead and share on my private profile what I'm actually up to and genuinely show my friends, my followers online, if I just go on social media and share what it is that I'm actually doing, then I'll quickly gain new contacts. And I believe that a good salesperson genuinely does this instead of claiming, no, that's private and should stay that way, especially if someone's truly motivated. Maybe even gets an incentive in the form of commission or something similar for every deal they close. Then I just think it's simply part of the job to also share it within your personal circles and take the time to let your friends, your acquaintances know more about what exactly it is that you're actually doing. You always assume that your close friends and personal contacts already know exactly what it is that you're actually doing. But when you actually ask around, I can speak from experience. They thought for a long time I was doing something to do with software, like I'm working with computers or something really basic. But now that we're actually developing software specifically for the sales department, my point of contact isn't the IT guy in the company. My counterpart is actually sales. And when people finally get it, I suddenly start getting totally different recommendations, and it quickly becomes interesting even for private contacts who say, whoa, I actually know someone from that company, and they're really struggling right here and there, and I've personally noticed that something's off. Their business isn't doing well, or whatever, they would actually need my CRM software, and that's how you suddenly get in touch with new contacts you wouldn't normally think of. WhatsApp, for example, has this great feature, status updates. Just post a status, share something about what you offer, what you do professionally, put it in your status, and that way you simply reach the people you know, the ones you're somehow connected with, without it feeling pushy or salesy, just a natural way to stay on their radar and let them know what you're up to, almost like a casual heads up that can lead to real opportunities down the line. Let them know what you're doing, you'll see they're all really willing to help and support you, often going out of their way. And that's why I'd really recommend making full use of this entire network you've built up over the years, rather than always just sticking to the internal company contact database that's available here. But also genuinely bring your personal contacts into the mix. Yeah, and aside from that, I'd just add that social media can be a really effective tool, as long as you know how to use it properly and stay consistent with your approach. But if I only post things on social media just for the sake of having content, not much will happen. If I then also include a landing page or a flow form, a clear and effective call to action, carefully designed so that on social media, users are actively prompted to answer specific questions or get in touch with me or with the company directly without any friction or hesitation, then contacts will definitely start coming in over time. And what I often see is that most companies have so much potential and they're not using it simply because they don't even see it. And I can only recommend make sure to use it effectively. Don't just do social media to post some cool pictures, but consistently encourage people to get in touch with you directly and take action, so you can actually make use of them.
Mr. James, winning new customers made incredibly easy.